Hi, this is Virtual Repair Cafe number 3. Just going to go for a little easy one today. I'm going to fix some suit jackets. So, needle, thread, scissors, nice and easy. So my pockets are coming undone. My jackets. And I'm gonna stitch them up. So this is a charity shop buy, Lindsay's in Barton. Basically the pocket is coming off from where it needs to be, which is on the jacket. We do a real simple. Same with any things that we tend to do in this repair cafe. It's very simply make sure you've got a knot on the end of your thread, match your thread, and then we're going to do an up and over stitch, a catching stitch to attach the pocket back on. Little jobs that seem to take the longest to get around to doing, but when you do them they're just so simple and quick, and you just think, well, why didn't I just do that before? But sometimes it is just that little bit of time that you just don't allow yourself. So a bit later starting today, just because we've been busy homeschooling. We got into doing a nice little George's Marvellous Medicine recipe today that the kids planned out. They got a letter from George's grandma through the post today to say, I hear that you're making me a nice medicine. And so they wanted to write her a letter back, and they filmed a little recipe and them making the medicine as well, which looks disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And they both tried it and said, this is nice. Used all sorts of different spices and things. So anyway, they're happy. We got a bit carried away with it, but it's pretty good. Pretty good, really. It's nice when you get into something, especially when it's quite a struggle sometimes to either get them motivated or to feel like, you have to spend a lot of time together, don't you? And it's intense and gets to the point where all of us at some point are feeling a little jaded, tired, fed up, whatever it is. But we gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. That's exactly what we have to do. So that's all sealed and back on now. Just going to do a little finishing stitch, and you can hardly even tell that I've even done it, which is of course the idea. It may not stay done up, especially if I start putting things back in the pocket again, but the flap is nice and sewn back down again. So that's good, I'm happy with that. Just check the other. I don't think there's anything else on this one. I don't think the other pocket was coming off. No, that one's fine. The only other one to do is this purple one. I think the pocket is fine. This jacket. This is a really annoying thing actually when you on jackets sometimes on the pocket buttonholes. You just get a lot of the threads or the bits that they should have trimmed off when they made it, just hanging around still. You can just trim them off as long as it's not the actual buttonhole threads. You can just trim them off and that's clean that up nicely. I'm going to do the same on the other one because that's got some bits that are hanging out from there as well. So that's cleaned that up. Might just do a little shorter version today. Let's say it's already quite late in the day. I just thought I'd try and catch you and drop in, see if there's anybody else around. And yeah, that's another thing that I might do while we're doing this jacket. It's got loads of labels in it, and it doesn't really bother me, but when your jacket sort of flies open and you can see it, it's just a bit annoying sometimes. I don't really want to show everyone where it's from. Simply, you can just either unpick the seam, pull it out, and then stitch it back up, or you can just trim really close to the edge, trim it out, and then pull away any of the extra parts of the. That's nice, and that looks better already. Obviously, if you need to know what the wash instructions are, keep it. But I know what I can get away with these notes, so it doesn't matter. So this one, this side, I'm going to unpick this using my unpicker. Any excuse to get the unpicker out. And just unpick the stitches along the edge of the label. You can see that there's a little bit of extra sort of fluff on there, but it's not really a big. I'd much rather have the label off than worry about that. Now that one's stitched into the seam, so I'm going to do the same as what I did with the other one and just trim that away. These are all little things that it's not really major things to do, but sometimes it's just annoying. I know the kids hate having labels in the back of the clothes. They mess up, sort of itchy and things. So again, just pull out the extra edges of the label because they're quite sort of fluffy. They're usually made out of some kind of polyester or nylon or something, and just trim those bits away. And again, that's cleaning on now. The other bit that I need to fix on this, it's not the pocket. Done the labels. Oh, what was it? Ah, oh, yes. Somehow, because of the way I hang it up, it's got a big hole at the back of the jacket now. So to be able to stitch that up, I believe it's needs stitching up on both sides. I think it's that side of the seam is undone, plus yeah, and that side is as well. So you can pin those into place and then stitch them. So it's that part that's undone. We'll just do pin a bit that side. It's quite helpful if you pin both sides at the same time and make sure that all your bits are tucked in. And I'm going to stitch each side separately. So two sides of the seam need stitching. I'm going to use the same black thread again. Same old trusty old strong thread that should hold. And then go in behind the back of the fabric inside the seam, and then just do the same sort of stitch up and over. I'll have to do it this way around, I think. Up and over, catching it in. Again, obviously, if you know how to use a sewing machine, this is easily done. If you turn the jacket inside out and stitch the seams back up, just a straight stitch over where it has come undone. And I would usually just do that on a sewing machine, but again, it's just setting all the threads up, and it's easy enough if you've got time just to sit and do a little repair like this instead. Up and over. It's quite far away along this one. Can hear lots of screaming from the children. I think it's mine. Yes, it's mine. They're having fun anyway. The end of the school day. Not during it. No. As I say, they've done all sorts today. And they would have done one of these again. They wanted to make the cushion again today, but just sometimes you can only get so many things done. And with doing the extreme George's Marvellous Medicine filming earlier, that's enough. They need to learn that everything's quite tiring. And they're playing quite nicely together, so I'm not going to complain too much. So I just finished that stitch off there. And did a finishing stitch. Again, that side is now repaired. Just got the other side of it still loose on this side. So I'm going to pin that back in place. I probably don't need to pin it, but it's best if it's got, even if it's just got one pin in it. If you need more pins in it, that's fine. Stick more in it, whatever you need to make sure that it stays in place whilst you're doing the stitching. So same again, just go in on the inside of the fabric. So your knot goes on the inside, and then just your up and over catching stitch all the way along that opening. So nice, simple stitching. Nearly finished it already. It's amazing. Had these things to do for so long. So I think I've got, yeah, about another inch just to finish stitching along there.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Are you joining us? Been out shopping. Oh, I thought we had a visitor then. It's bad, isn't it, when the most exciting thing that happens is when you go out shopping. I don't like shopping. I certainly don't like food shopping, but it's quite nice if you do, when I do need to go out, which I don't really do much of the food shopping, but when I do need to go out and go food shopping, it's great because it's a great excuse not to have to take the children. And they don't like it either. No, you're not allowed in shops. Right, so there we go. That's a little bit. So you can't, I mean, I'm using a black thread, and my stitches aren't that invisible really, they should be, but you still can't even see it, especially against that, the cording and the way the fabric is still shadowing. So I'm going to do a little quick finishing stitch. I'm happy with that. In fact, I've just realised that this purple cord jacket was from charity shop as well. Oh, I don't know. And so is this dress, a little dress from one of the charity shops. This is the one I did the repair with and replace the button on this one. Oh, I think I'm done. The only other thing that I think I need to do there's something else. I've got no buttons left on this jacket, and I have no idea where they've gone. But I could do with maybe trying to replace them. The buttonholes are quite large there, so I need to make sure that I pick something, a good button, that's going to be big enough, but not too big. My trusty button box out and see. Surely there must be something in this little bundle. Well, it's whether you can then find a matching one. Maybe I don't need matching ones. Whenever you're going to replace the button, make sure that you check that the button will go through. So both of those will go through. I might even just put 2 random buttons on. Not totally convinced by that one. Let's see. We've got another brown one. Brown one, and I like an orangey one. No, I like the green and the orangey one. So the green and the orangey one are going on. So if you see me in this jacket soon, nice buttons. And I'm going to sew with the buttons on exactly where they were before. And you can see that's obvious on the fabric. There and there. You can't pin them on. So you just have to get your thread and start stitching on. I've already done my little hole in the back, knot in the back, and you make sure you go through both on the back of the fabric, the back of the jacket. Make sure you go through from there. So you go through all fabric. Now the reason why these buttons have fallen off is because the fabric underneath it has torn on this side. So these, when they're stitching these buttons on, I've got to make sure that I do them nice and strong, but make sure that you go through fresh parts of the fabric, so not the torn part. So that's what I'm going to do, is just make sure that I do up and over through another fresh part of the fabric, but very close to where you've already got the marker. Up and over and in and down. I'm not going to do too many because I don't use the buttons in this on this jacket anyway, so it won't. I don't need to make sure that it's going to stay on because I'm using it. It doesn't need to be functional. It just needs to be on there firmly. And I'm just making sure that I stitch back round through to the other side. You can probably hear the kids actually, they're very loud today. It's all that medicine, that marvellous medicine they had. It's great, we watched Rick Mail's Jack and Nori reading of the story. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Right, so I'm pretty happy with that button being in position. So I'm just going to do a few quick loops on it and then stitch the back of the fabric just a few times. Do a nice little finishing stitch just to capture it all, and then trim that. So that's one button on. And we'll just get this second button on. Again, start from behind, stitch it through at the same point where the button used to be, and then go through the back of your button and then back through the other side and loop it on. A bit dusty, that button. And through, back around, keeping the same old things all the time. Monotonous really, but therapeutic. Yeah. So 4, maybe 5 times. Make sure you go through and out. It's quite good if you've got just like a normal thickness of thread, to double up your thread when you're stitching these buttons on. Usually I do, but because I know that I'm not using it as a functional button, I'm just doing it as a single thread, and I know my thread is pretty strong as well. So finish that and then just do some last little stitches to finish it off here. That's that. Done, done, done. Put the needle away safely. Scissors away safely. And that's the buttons stitched up. Awesome. I'm going to just put that on my mannequin, see how that looks. This is the skirt I fixed. Not the whole week 1, I think that was. Okay. So, here she is on the mannequin. Button. And another new button. So I can do it up if I wanted to. But there's a few little bits of thread. I think we'll say goodbye for today and hopefully see you again. Bye.